lunch therapy on Wednesday afternoon, lunchtime here in Los Angeles. In the rest of the world, it's all kinds of different times. We do this. This is lunch therapy. We take a break from the day. Maybe some of us eat some lunch, but we just mainly take a mental break, breathe a little bit, have a little fun. I've got entirely too many sharks around me. I'm trying to get over my fear of sharks. Today's show is entitled, "Do Sharks Make Good House Pets?" It's a good question. Let's get into it. Let's just see, who's here real quick. Camila Lopez. Hi. Is it Shark Week? Exactly. That's something, that I want to address. Shark Week. Hi. Hi, Mary. Good to see you. Let's get into this show. Here we go. Time for some therapy. Okay, things are getting a lot better for me in the oceans because this is Ocean Week, and so far, very little ocean talk. Some ocean type backgrounds, perhaps. Flying sharks. Fish are friends, not food. Well, yeah, because that's something that I want to talk about too. Pescatarianism. Hi. Ganelle's here in the Twitch room. We've got, so we know we're out there in the different social media venues. It's time to breathe. Here we go, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it out. I'm gonna really let it out today. Just letting it out. Letting it fly. Letting the flag fly, right? Speaking of letting the flag fly, it's a tree cam today. There's some sharks up there. Trying to look at the tree because I saw some squirrels in there earlier. It's a high-tech show, so we can kind of zoom around in there. Yep. The crew's been working hard on that one, I'll tell you. Another breath, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Take in some more air if you can. Fill those lungs. Let it out. Okay, this time when we take in the breath, we're going to think of our lungs expanding and allowing the air to come in. Just expanding and allowing the air to come in. Because that's what's happening, I think. It's not really like a suction. It's we don't have like a motor in there that's sucking the air in. We have lungs. They expand. When they expand, all the air comes in. Here we go. Seems like I could take in more air than that. Got to work on my lung capacity. Let it out. Wow, Ganelle. First with the trash pandas, now squirrels are just rats with fluffy tails. Well, you know what? Maybe rats are cool. Maybe sharks are cool. That's the real question here. I mean, not whether they're cool, but whether we should be afraid of them. Because, like I've said, ever since Jaws, I think my generation especially is very terrified of what goes on beneath the waves. And considering that's most of the planet, we should get over that, right? So I'm getting over it. First way I'm going to go over it is by watching a cat and a deer. So this is a cat. His name's Jelly. He's encountering a deer.
Jelly.
Ganelle likes rats. Uh-oh. I better get Ganelle out of the way because I see now the way the deer is stomping.
Jelly, come here.
is the way the skunks stomp
afraid of you.
when I go out
He wants to
in
know
my
you.
yard and there are skunks there. They do this little stomping. And I think that probably says, hey, look out. I'm a tough guy. Or a tough
Come on, Jill.
doe. I'm a tough doe. Jelly, jelly. Anyway, can't watch that too
Jelly,
long.
don't get-
Yesterday, I showed the little tiny clip of the What Does the Fox Say? Just to illustrate the point that we were making about how the iPhone, will tell you what the fox says. And banned. Well, I'm not banned from YouTube, but they said, nope. Can't show that one. Heather is here. Stay over it. Under the water is where the danger is. Well, look at this, Heather, because this is pretty amazing, if you ask me. I don't like to use the word amazing very often because it is an overused word these days. Amazing. That is so amazing. So you are resolving your fear of the ocean. Is that what lunch therapy is really all about? Yeah, that's the theme. Well, at least it seems to be the theme this week. More than oceans is getting over my fear of the oceans. And hopefully, if you have it, yours too. Here we go. Get ready. This is amazing. Okay, we're out in the ocean now. See, look, I'm out. I'm underwater. Woo, I'm swimming around. Yeah, through the magic. Uh-oh, here comes a shark. Here he comes. I'm not that scared. Oh, he looks like he's going after me. But there's another person there. One of the comments, the most popular comment on this video on YouTube, which is a video that you should watch. It's this person. Her name is Ocean Ramsey. There she is, swimming with that shark. But anyway, the top comment says, the most dangerous animal in the world, swimming with a fish. Because humans, I think, we're the most dangerous animals in the world. Anyway, look, she seems fine. You know, you see all these things on Shark Week where people are in cages and the sharks are attacking them. This is a huge great white shark, and yet she's swimming with them. And I'll tell you, she knows her sharks. So this is her, Ocean Ramsey. She's a sharkologist, apparently a model as well. But anyway, she gives this great TED Talk. I highly recommend it if you need to get over your fear of sharks, because she makes a good case, because the sharks should be more afraid of us than we of them, right? Because here are some statistics for you. First of all, 5 to 7 deaths annually from sharks. So the sharks just think we're a sea turtle, a sea lion, something like that, because we look a lot like that when we're floating on the surface. I guess if you're a sea turtle or a sea lion, you should be afraid of sharks, but that's not going to keep you out of the water. And now let's see how many sharks we humans kill. 70 to 100 million sharks are killed every year. Does that seem possible? It's horrible. That's the size of Spain, France, and Austria, the population. That's how many sharks are killed every year. And you know what the highest reason, or the top reason humans kill sharks? Does anybody know in the chat room? I would have to wait for like 5 minutes or something. Yeah, it's terrible that we're killing these animals. So we kill them for the fins, to put in shark fin soup, apparently, which has absolutely no nutritional value whatsoever. We are the scourge of the earth. Hi, Todd. Yeah, so probably something we need to be aware of, that we are doing these kind of things. So next time you're at a restaurant and they say, hey, do you want to have some shark fin soup? Say, nah, I don't think so. Because, I mean, apparently they just hacked the thing. This is not lunch therapy talk, but it's very necessary for me to commune with the sharks, and, for us to perhaps get past the jaws, the terrible, terrible propaganda that was perpetrated against the Sharks. Yeah, it's heavy stuff. Is it Thursday? It's Wednesday. Whew. Thank God. No, yeah. It's Thursday. See, I don't even know what day it is. It is Thursday. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Shows you where my head is, which is great because I don't have to work today. So I didn't even realize that. Later on today, actually, I'm going to be speaking on the phone with a black belt, a several level black belt in karate who does some kind of motivational work. And I'm just interested in what this guy has to say. So I'm going to talk to him on the phone and I'll let you guys know how that goes. I'm not really a martial artist. I am a martial who is an artist, perhaps. So maybe I am a martial artist just by birthright. But I'm not I do some Tai Chi. And that is a martial art. And I did study under the great Sherry Chernish. And I am the leader of a cult, which is a sort of martial arts in itself, a mental martial arts. Yeah, I'm going to be swimming with sharks. It's Blur's Day. That's right. That was cool how I didn't even know what day it was. But I am wearing a shirt today, speaking of cults, and the cult of the hummingbird, which we're all in by proxy or by default or by choice. I'm wearing this shirt that I bought in Los Angeles, and I'm going to turn around. And I don't even know what it says. I think it says join the cult. And it's not a real cult. I think it's a joke. I hope it's a joke because they're cutting their hands and doing some kind of blood ritual. I am the Grand Marshal of the arts. I don't know if Grand Marshal sounds good either. I'm a little concerned about that. So we are moving along. I'm going to take another look at tree cam. Not a lot going on there. Let's do a little zoom to see. Earlier, I felt like there was a squirrel up there that was throwing things down on me. We have a squirrel. Kamala calls it her squirrel friend. And Kamala gives her an orange or something every day, or her or he. And he really goes to town, like peeling it, and goes to a specific place. And so we'll get some footage of that because I'm sure that you want to see that. I'm sure you do. Sue Pascal yesterday was talking to us about a stuffed bear that was in Woodway when we were growing up. A stuffed, like a dead bear that had, I don't know why there's so many dead animals on the show today. But yeah, some taxidermy and a giant bear that was in Woodway. And so far, nobody's confirmed this. I think she might be delusional. I looked around on the internet for pictures of this stuffed bear that was in someone's yard in Woodway. So if anybody could confirm that, or please share this video, because we have to get to the bottom of it, because one of the things that we do besides shark therapy on this show is we also get to the bottom of mysteries. Unsolved mysteries. I was saying last week that I ran into a bull when I was in Woodway also. This is a show about sharks, but growing up, I was in Woodway. I think it was in junior high school. And this is actually, sometimes behind the fear, there's another fear. And that's a lesson for you guys to learn. When you're afraid of something, sometimes you have to say, am I afraid of that? Or is there something behind that I'm afraid of? And this is a good example. So I'm afraid of sharks. They terrify me. But, what's behind that? What else am I afraid of? Well, for some reason at night, I'm walking around in Woodway. And usually I'm, in my stories, I'm the hero of my story, and I'm the innocent, I think. And the world is just kind of happening to me. So that's how I remember it. And maybe, what does the shark say? I will ask that later on in the show. So in the traditional fashion, I'm just wandering around at night, no one knows why, in Woodway. And this van pulls up. And all these guys get out, and maybe somebody can validate this story as well. Maybe you can pass this to some Woodway people. But all these guys get out, and it's Joe MacArthur and Mike MacArthur and I think Scott Amy and I think Rob Thal and maybe and Paul Barbano. And they're all dressed in camouflage. And I say, you know, what's going on, guys? Because I'm just an innocent guy that's just like, hey, how's it going? What's going on, guys? I'm not a guy that the cops would be chasing or anything like that. So I'm just, you know, I'm just hanging. I'm hanging out in, you know, Joel Marshall fashion. Oh, good. Sue's here. Brenda Reynolds. Brenda Taylor Reynolds can confirm, but she remembers it being made of wood. We both recall it being huge. Well, we're going to have to, I need a picture. Sorry, I need a picture. You must send me a picture. So I hope it was made of wood because, you know, we don't want to kill bears. Imagine how many bears we kill. We talk about sharks. Imagine how many bears. So I'm, you know, the guys, they're wearing camouflage, all these guys. And I'm like, hey guys, what you doing? Because I'm just, you know, just kind of groovy. I'm just kind of a groovy person. And they're like, oh, we're going to go raid the nunnery. First of all, I don't think they're called nunneries, right? They're called convents. Isn't that right? Where the nuns hang out, where they live. Joel does look like the dude. You know, I'm trying to get, I really, and I'm actually in communication with Jeff Bridges' people. I'm trying to get him on, you know, maybe for the 100th episode. It would be fun, wouldn't it? It would be fun. A couple of dudes talking on the Zoom. You know, one can dream, right? But one cannot be attached to expectations. One can just dream. So here I am. I see the guys. They got the camouflage. We're going to go to the nunnery. I'm like, okay. And they give me, you know, some camouflage. And we go out into the woods of Woodway. That's why it's called Woodway, because it's just tons of woods. And we're trudging around along like we're, you know, they call themselves commandos, like they're in the military or something. And we're traipsing through the woods, and I'm kind of scared because I'm that kind of person. You know, I'm thinking that maybe I see Michael Myers behind a tree or Jason from Friday the 13th. I'm scared, okay? And there's some sheer kind of cliffy kind of things. And then we go to the nunnery, and what do? Blow stuff up, of course. They've got, you know, M80s and M250s and all these explosives. The nunnery is near the bear. Yeah, see, you know what I'm talking about. I'm glad somebody knows what I'm talking about here. So we, of course, light those and throw them at the nuns. I mean, not at the nuns. There weren't actual nuns standing out there, just kind of blowing stuff outside, blowing stuff up outside the nunnery. And then, of course, we run. You know, we run. I think the nuns maybe came out. I never saw any nuns, but it was this old, creepy nunnery, as I recall. I think they used it actually to film some horror movies. So I'm running around. I'm like, why did I do this? Why did I get myself into this? I'm just this innocent dude just walking around in Woodway in the middle of the night. And I'm running. And the cops come. You hear the cops, like sirens. And you know Edmund's cops, man. They should make a show about that. Yo, spy, 14i is here. Good to see you. Make sure you follow us on Twitch. We don't need many more followers to be actual legitimate Twitch streamers. So I'm running. I'm in the dark. And usually, as usual, everybody scatters. Everybody gets away except for me and Paul Barbano. Paul Barbano and I always get stuck holding the bag. So we're running through the woods, and we get deeper and deeper in the woods, and it gets more and more. There's more and more brush. There's more and more, so you can't run anymore. You're just kind of stuck. They hold educational conferences there, and yeah, see? And I'm trying to blow them up. But it wasn't me, right? So I'm in the woods. I'm hiding. Paul Barbano and I are there. We're like, what are we going to do? The cops now have their flashlights out, and they're walking through the woods looking for these people, these commandos. You can hear them talking. They're getting closer and closer and closer. And I don't know. I mean, maybe Don Anderson He's a policeman now, and maybe he needs to hear this story and give me some more details on how these officers actually do chase kids in the woods, and whether he chases kids in the woods. I don't know. But anyway, we're hiding, and now I'm scared of policemen. Yeah, of course. I don't know what they're gonna do, so they're coming to get us, and I just turn and bolt through the brush, and I'm swimming, like I'm in the ocean, right? Like I'm in the ocean, swimming through the brush, and finally I come out into a big field. And I'm like, I got away because there's no way anybody's going to come after me. Paul Barbano is close behind. I wouldn't leave him behind. No, that's not me, right? So we're in there, and we're like, thank God. And there's moonlight shining down, and it's a beautiful thing. And right in the middle of it is this bull. Yeah, there's a bull with the horns and everything just toeing at the ground. And it's kind of like a land shark, right? A bull is like a land shark. Maybe a dog is more like a land shark. But anyway, I was terrified. And what do you do? What do you do when you're standing like feet away from this bull and it's going to, you're in its territory? And I just rodeo clowned that thing. I just, started doing the thing where you run like a rodeo clown. I was running around. Paul was, with me. And luckily we jumped over the fence just before he slammed into the fence right behind us. And I went home, buried my camo, went to bed. Maybe Paul Barbano can weigh in on that because he's, Paul is one of those guys. I don't know if you guys know Paul Barbano. But if you do, that guy has an encyclopedic brain. I have two friends that have an encyclopedic brains, and they can tell you when anything happened, exactly what happened. They'll fix the story. One is Paul Barbano, the other is Jeff Lohman. And Jeff Lohman kind of cheats because he writes everything down because he's a writer and sends it to you. Says, here's what you were doing on this day 20 years ago. That's always really scary. Let's see what Ganell has to say. For someone who doesn't do anything wrong, you seem to be dealing with a lot of cops. I know. How far did you run to find a bull? It's a good question. I just, it was one of those things where I was just stuck in, that stuff in the woods, the underbrush. I was stuck in the underbrush. And there's a point, and also, if any of you know the Seattle area, there are a lot of blackberry bushes. And so it was mainly, I think, just sticky blackberry bushes. A bull is like a land walrus. Well, walruses are kind of on land as well, but you're right. It's like a a bull is like a land bull walrus. Yeah. Maybe that's why they call him that, I guess. Maybe Paul will remember the bear. If anybody remembers the bear, he will remember every detail of it. He'll tell you the day they got it and how they carved it and where the bear was killed or whatever it was. Paul will know. So, sometimes when we're thinking about what we're doing to the animals, sometimes this show becomes about what we're doing to the animals. I think it's because, I just realized that someday in the future, we're going to look back and go, they ate the animals. They stuffed the animals and put them out on their porch. Someday we'll look back on that. And I always think, we're all just kind of tourists here, right? We don't really own anything. Which is a great segue to this bit that I'm working on about tourists. And I want your help because in Los Angeles, you can tell the tourists, you can tell who the tourists are because they're walking around with shorts on. Because nobody walks around with shorts in Los Angeles. For some reason, everybody wears long pants, unless you're at the beach or running or something. But generally, especially in the winter, So tourists come to Los Angeles and they're like, hey, I'm in Los Angeles. Look at the palm trees. And they wear their big old shorts, sometimes with pockets, big old pockets in them. So you can tell the tourists that way. In Seattle, I think you can tell the tourists because they carry around umbrellas. Maybe in Texas, you can tell the tourists. I don't know. Let me know. Email me because I need some bits about tourists. So I don't have much of a segue here. There's no segues. What I want to tell you right now is that we're going to look at more ocean stuff because I got to get to this ocean thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump right to that. I've been watching tons of stuff about the ocean, and none of it I've shared with you guys at all. I have learned a lot, but I've also learned that it's so vast. I'll just tell you a couple things that I've learned. This is a verbal portion of the show where I tell you. It's kind of a verbal show as it is. When I was a kid, I designed this home. And in the home, because I was a home designer at the time, I designed homes, showed them to people, and they said, you can't build that. So I made a home that had a glass floor, and below the glass floor were all these fish, lots of fish. So you could just walk around. It's like an aquarium, but the floor was glass, and you could see the fish. Bull was bullheaded. I do want to see what Todd has to say because maybe he can build this for me. You can tell good, he has jokes because Todd's good with jokes. You can tell the American tourists in Europe, they usually are pale and weigh twice as much as the Europeans. That's good. That's good. Let's see. In New York City, you can tell the tourists by identifying the slower moving humans getting slammed by everyone walking by. Yeah, I was thinking about New York because that seems like a good one. Yeah, I like that. Back to the ocean. The ocean is vast. That's what the whole point of this week was. I think that is the whole point of the week. So here are some things that I learned. Oh, wait. New York tourists. These are good. New York tourists stand in the middle of the sidewalk, which annoys New Yorkers. But that's an old stereotype. Oh, they pronounce Houston Street like the city in Texas. Pretty impressive, huh? I said Houston. I've been there. I've been there. I learned the whole Houston thing. It's strange. We used to have Rodeo Drive and Rodeo Drive, spelled the same. Rodeo Drive is now gone. It's now Obama Drive, I think. A little bit of trivia there for you on a Thursday as we get towards the end of the show, which is a shame because I have this whole thing, ocean thing. So I'm not going to do it today. We're going to do it tomorrow. But here are some things that I learned about the ocean. Everyone's a tourist in Vegas. It's totally true. One, there's a deep, deep trench in the ocean. And if you were to put Mount Everest in there, it would be dwarfed. It's called the Mariana Trench. These are the things. I'm actually flaunting how little I know by telling you about this, something that you probably know already. And in this trench, of course, the pressures are so high because of all the water. There's like a starfish thing that lives at the very, very bottom of the ocean. And it can withstand pressures as if you put 80 jumbo jets on top of it. Now, I don't know if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? 80 jumbo jets sitting on top of a living starfish? Didn't we learn all this in Oceanography 101? I don't think you took Oceanography 101, Ganell. So that's why I'm doing this public service for you. 80 jumbo jets? Did you learn that? I don't think so. And there is you know how in Space Week we looked at the International Space Station? the ISS. Well, there is something like that down under the ocean, too, where people live down there. And we will definitely explore that. Thank God we have a scientist here. Didn't you learn these things from Finding Nemo? I learned nothing from Finding Nemo. Nothing. This is why the ocean is scary. Right, because it's so vast and so heavy. I think that's the thing that people don't think about, too, is that water weighs a lot. And when it's, when you're underwater, there's stacked up water all around you, and that weighs so much. So the creatures that are down there, how the hell do they live? They got the crazy, and it's so dark. That's the other thing. It's completely dark. It's like space. Can we have a Rocky Horror Week? I would love that. That would be great. You should have George Costanza on the show. He's a marine biologist. That's a good idea. I don't think I could have characters from TV shows. Of course I could. Of course I could have George Costanza on the show. Gotta dream big, right? Anyway, be some licensing issues. Seinfeld. I don't know. But we got to move to dance break because that's the kind of show it is. Let's see what Jenny says because she's very knowledgeable. The trench is terrifying. The creatures are ghastly. Gigantic albino roly-poly bugs. They're the size of white footballs. I just wonder. They're the size of white footballs, not blue footballs. Or brown footballs. As footballs usually are. So what happens when you do... Okay, so there's starfish. He's in this very, very high pressure situation. What happens when you bring him to the surface? Does he just expand beyond, like he just explodes because he's not used to the low pressure and he just, kind of like, I don't know, like maybe we would do if we went into a, like if we jumped out of an airplane in the middle of flying. That would be so great for my compost pile. One of those sea pigs. Jay just got here. I know. No, we're going to do dance break. We're moving to dance break. I had a lot of things that I want to tell you about. It's about you. I'm having a problem these days. This is one more thing that yes, because they are albino. We would solve a lot of fears if we just ate all the animals in the ocean. Make America great again. Oh my God. No, you've learned nothing. Neil, you've learned nothing from this lecture. Nothing at all. Bottom fish throw up their stomachs when you pull them up from the deep. You see? I'm learning. I'm learning from you guys. See, this is my habit, is I say guys. I think now is the time and I think of guys as like males and females, and everything in between. And I think that maybe I've got to stop this habit. Because now what I do is I say guys, and then I'm like, I kind of pull back from it, and then I think about it, and then, so I've got to come up with a new habit. Y'all. I think I'm going to start saying y'all. I think y'all, I'm going to try and make that my habit. The sheer weight of water is equivalent to tons of pressure. That's why they have to build those crazy capsules and go down there. If you're James Cameron. Those things are expensive, too. You got to make a lot of avatars to make one of those deep sea diving vessels. The pressure is equivalent to playing zombies in Call of Duty Black Ops. Thank you for a video game reference. I appreciate that. I am going to be probably playing a video game on Twitch. Yins. That is a brilliant idea. The Pittsburgh form of y'all, yins. I'm going to start, or use. I'm going to start using yins. That's my heritage. Substitute for guys is y'all. I guess you're supposed to say folks. I'm not big on the folks thing. There's a lot of people saying folks these days, but it sounds sort of, pejorative in that, like, these people are folksy. Like they don't know about the ocean or something. Like, they don't know all the things that I know about the ocean. They're just a bunch of folks. People, you people. The word y'all is the only good thing to come out of Texas. Oh, Sue. Well, Sue didn't come out of Texas, so she's not going to take that. When is video game week? I think we ought to do that. Hey, you guys, was the start of the electric company, and it meant all people. Oh, hey, you guys. It's so true. Was that Morgan Freeman who said that? Morgan Freeman was on the electric company. Video game week. Jose was up for that too. We're going to have to do that. Comrades. I'm going to end on comrades. We can, of course, keep commenting through the song because I tend to talk through the song. I got my favorite group of the day is this thing that I just can't get enough of. I cannot get enough of. They're called Scary Pockets. I want to call them Pocket Lint because we were talking about this website last week called Pocket Lint, but then they're called Scary Pockets. And what they do is they take songs, well-known songs, and they make them funk songs. And what they come up with sometimes is better than the original song. So this is them doing the famous song by the Hansons, Mbop. Dance if you got them.
In this life, only one or two will last. You're going through all the pain and strife. You turn your back and they're gone so fast. Oh yeah, and they're gone so fast. Yeah.
Yeah, really. I don't need meds because I've got lunch therapy, right? Good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Thursday.